breaking news. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations now saying that they've seen video that suggests to them Russia has used weapons and bombs that are banned against the people of Ukraine. Listen to this.
We've seen videos of Russian forces moving exceptionally lethal weaponry into Ukraine, which has no place on the battlefield. That includes cluster munitions and vacuum bombs, which are banned under the Geneva Convention.
Ukraine's emergency services says that more than 2,000 Ukrainian civilians have died in just this first week of this war. Joining me now is John Herbst. He's the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. Also with us, CNN military analyst, retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. Ambassador, I want to get your reaction to what we just heard from Linda Thomas-Greenfield, saying that they have seen video, cluster munitions, vacuum bombs, weapons banned under the Geneva Convention. What do her words in front of the UN General Assembly mean?
Well, this confirms the reports coming from Ukrainian authorities over the last couple of days about the Russian use of both cluster munitions and thermobaric or vacuum bombs. So this is clearly a war crime, and it seems to be an indication that Putin is going to move from a straightforward invasion into the use of massive bombardments against civilian populations, tactics which brought him victory in Chechnya and in Syria, but which are clearly a war crime. We should have taken Putin down for that back in 15 and 16 when he did in Syria, and before that when he did in Chechnya. But we really need to place an emphasis on this now.
I don't want to miss this moment, though, Ambassador, because we did hear President Biden just say also moments ago, he said it's too early to say whether Russia is committing war crimes. You think it is no longer too early? This is clearly war crimes.
Well, if in fact our ambassador at the UN confirmed those Ukrainian reports, that suggests that it is a fact. And if that's the case, then maybe President Biden is doing that out of, I would say, overcaution, a characteristic we've seen of the Biden administration throughout this crisis, although their overall response to the crisis has been sound.
Colonel, talk to me about the lethality of these weapons. Cluster munitions, vacuum bombs. Why does this take this fight to a new level?
Well, Kate, it's, as the ambassador to the UN said, this is a weapon system that is actually banned. These are weapon systems that are banned under the Geneva Convention. So what do? Well, cluster bombs are munitions that are designed to explode and carry out projectiles over a large distance. And in essence, what they do is they are designed to be anti-personnel devices, which means that they kill troops. They're designed to kill troops, but when they're used on civilian targets, they are designed to actually go after the civilian population. It is an illegal use of those weapons, but what it does is it can kill a wide area of people. If you are going after people in a square, a public square, for example, it could potentially devastate everybody within a large city square. When you look at the thermobaric bombs, the Russian nomenclature for the one that we have seen on CNN, the TOS-1, that is a weapon that is designed to go after people in enclosed spaces. So what happens is it's in essence a kind of glorified, if you will, flamethrower, and what it does is it attacks an area that ideally used in an enclosed space, and it sucks the air out of people's lungs who are targeted. So it's a very grotesque weapon, and what it does is it asphyxiates people, and it does it in a way that is heinous. It is absolutely cruel. So these weapons don't work as well in open area, but they work extremely well from a lethality standpoint in an enclosed area. So they're used against bunkers, buildings, trenches, and that kind of area that could potentially be an obstacle to the Russian forces.
Colonel, we also have new reporting that I want to also bring to everyone as well, that the U.S. sources say that the Ukrainian military, their capability losses have been worse than the military losses for the Russians to this point. This reporting from Jim Shuto, Barbara Starr, and Katie Bolillis says that Russia's lost roughly 3 to 5% of its tanks and other military assets, compared to Ukrainian losses of roughly 10% of its capabilities. What does that mean?
So it's not surprising to me. It basically means that we're dealing with as many have said, a David versus Goliath situation here. Ukraine has about a tenth the size of its military in rough comparison to the Russian military. So a percentage loss for the Ukrainians is going to be much more important for them, and of course, a higher percentage loss makes it even more difficult for them. But it's not surprising because Ukrainians are operating in an enclosed area of their country, whereas the Russians, of course, have the vast resources of the largest country on earth in terms of geographical area.
Colonel, thank you as always for